Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Tea Talk with your host, Travis. Today's discussion is going to be about something that everyone likes to talk about, but doesn't really seem to understand what it is, and that is common sense. Common sense does not have bounds for race, religion, your driving ability, how you spend your money. You either have it or you don't. Now, let's go over the word common sense. Common meaning that over a large majority of people, most of them have it. It's a common thing to have. We're talking about using turn signals, making sure not to touch things that are hot. And honestly, I feel like that should no longer be common sense. That should actually be on a lower bar than common sense. In fact, everyone should have that kind of sense. I'm going to call that, for now, Neandersense, for Neanderthal. Common sense in this day and age should be knowing how to not judge a person by the color of their skin or judging a person by the kind of religion that they worship. A common sense in this day and age should be raising the bar. How is it that in this day and age, we're still treating using turn signals and touching hot things as something on a general basis that normal people would understand? That's something everyone should understand by now. Cars have been around for decades, and yet people still treat them like they're toys. Now, admittedly, I've made a few screw-ups before in my car. I've actually been in a few wrecks, okay? I'm not exactly a shining example of these things, but at least I use my turn signals. First up on the agenda is going to be race. Now, I know we all think to ourselves that a particular stereotype or cultural background isn't always going to fit a particular kind of stereotype, but how many people actually believe it? How many people actually say to themselves that that is the real situation? That not every single Iraqi person is gonna run in and explode, or every single black person likes fried chicken and watermelon, or every single white person cares about money. All of it just needs to stop. Racism needs to just stop. It is stupid. Arguing over a person's race has got to be the most idiotic, Neanderthalic thing I could ever hear. And using it as an excuse to permit any kind of harmful action against another person makes you a terrible human being. There is no other way to explain this. If you're willing to harm another human being over the color of their skin, you are not a decent human being. You're terrible. You're worthless. You should not be on planet Earth at all. We don't need that. This planet does not need that. Second on the agenda, manners. Tell people hi. Don't just immediately run up to them and start demanding things. And if you're on the phone with them, tell them goodbye. Especially after they've been polite with you. Oh, yes, ma'am, how can I help you? Oh, yeah, I need to get this and this and this. Well, okay, well, let me go ahead and put that to the side for you. Oh, well, thank you very much. Have a good day. Boom! Hang up! Done! You were nice about it. You got what you wanted. Be thankful for it. Don't just wait for Thanksgiving to roll around so you can sit down at a table and eat tons of food and pretend to be thankful for things. Actually tell yourself every single day that you're thankful that you're alive, or you're able to drive your car and afford food on your table. It is not an easy task, okay? It's something you have to live up to. Having manners does not necessarily revolve around treating other people nicely. It also revolves around you just being thankful for stuff. Holding doors open for people. If someone were to hold a door open for me, I'd tell them thanks. You don't just shrug it off and be like, oh yeah, okay. I hold doors open for people all the time. Old ladies, little kids, grown-ass men that can do it themselves, I still hold the door open for them. You want to know why? Because that's what being a good person is. Third on the agenda, religion. Now, this one's going to be a little bit of a touchy subject for some of you people out there, but bear with me here. I'm an agnostic. I'm not swinging for either team as far as like atheist and God and all that other kind of stuff. I'm not swinging for either team, so I'm just kind of the middle ground for this. Stop basing people off of the kind of religion that they believe in. Stop it. That needs to stop. Okay? If their religion is not affecting your life or any other kind of people's lives in a very intrusive manner, leave it alone. I wouldn't care if a person next door in their basement worships Satan, as long as he's not disemboweling baby goats and things like that. I'm perfectly fine with that. Just don't do anything illegal. For Christ's sake, don't kidnap people's kids and do weird things to them. As long as you're not doing anything illegal with your religion, you're fine with me. I don't care. A perfectly good example was the big old humdrum behind Mitt Romney being a Mormon. Honestly, I don't give two shits about Mitt Romney or Obama, but that's another discussion. All right, he's a Mormon. Oh, okay. Here's some blah, blah, blah about his religion. Okay, is that going to affect how he runs as a president? Not from what I've seen. I mean, it's not like he really brings it up that much. Big deal. If you're using religion as a crutch to judge a person, you're not getting to know that person. You're putting your foot in the door already to say, I already know how this person is going to act. I already know how they're going to think. Stop it. That is not what a decent human being does. That is not common sense. Common sense would be, hey, that person believes in that religion. As long as they aren't running around killing all of my kids, I don't care. Stop it. Fourth on the agenda, driving. It should no longer be common sense to use turn blinkers. How many times do I have to say this in this cast? How many times do I have to say this? Use blinkers. And for God's sake, if your brake lights are broken, get them fixed. That is not something you lollygag with. That is a very important detail people need to know when you're on the road, is that whether or not you are braking, for God's sake, get your brake lights fixed. God. Oh, God, man. Okay. Fifth on the agenda. Learning. Please do not go to college or these advanced schools just because you want more money. Go to them because you want to learn about things that you love. So many people I've talked to join medical professions and other kind of higher learned professions for money. And that's it. They don't care about helping people. They don't care about advancing research and treatments. They want money. Now, granted, there are a few people out there that are like, hey, I feel like I could really change the world if I helped, research this and do things like this. Awesome. You deserve to be in college. But some asshole out there that says, I want to go to college and become a doctor so I could get money, guess what? In 30 years, he's going to be ripping off old ladies because he's telling them that they're sick. And it's been done, and it's still done today. It's disgusting. It is not what a decent human being does. Like if a man were to become a surgeon and tell you that no matter what, you always need surgery and that there's no other way to fix a problem with you, guess what? He's an asshole. He's not a decent human being. He wants to cut you open for a paycheck and take out your organs. It's evil, man. It's so evil. Okay, sixth agenda, money. It should not be that difficult to understand how and when you should spend your money. Okay, I was a kid once. I got little allowances and I wanted to buy stupid shit like Pokemon cards and everything else. But I was a kid. That's what kids do. You don't really have that concept of money yet. If you're a grown adult, a grown human being who was supposed to be able to sustain themselves, and you're relying on someone else's help aka the government's help for welfare checks and things like that, because you're not going out there and getting a job, that's your fault. You should not be spending other people's money for your own livelihood when you could be out there making your own livelihood. People like that do not need to exist. This knows no race. This knows no religion. This is a common fact. If you are taking from other people their own hard-earned money for your own living and not giving anything back to society, you are a parasite. That's it. There are a few exceptions to this. The people who are medically ill and things like that, that need that kind of attention. They need the medication and things like that. If you're faking it, you are not a decent human being. If you are not helping out your community while you're still taking all that money, you're not a decent human being. This should no longer be common sense. This should be Neanderthal sense. This has gone on long enough. Humanity does not need all of this anymore. We do not need to tell each other that gays getting married is some kind of sin against God. Who are you to judge these people? If it's really a sin against God, then let God deal with them. If you really want humanity to get together and stop butting heads and start actually working together on this tiny little blue ball in the middle of a universe that's so massive your brain would probably explode by trying to comprehend it, then we need to start working together and stop nitpicking over this stupid shit. And this is coming from a guy who picks out broccoli from his Chinese food, and that's nitpicking. Basing what rights people have based on their race or religion or how much money they have is unacceptable as a human being. Unacceptable. If you consider yourself a decent human being, then this common sense will be absorbed into your brain. It will not go in one ear and out the other. It is not common sense. It is a grander sense. Please begin to understand this world. You really need to change. You need to lighten up, and you need to stop picking on people that don't need to be picked on. Chill out. Whew. Damn. Oh, I am so sorry. I felt like I really need to get that out of my system, and if you didn't really want to listen to any of that, I'm sorry, but I speak the truth here, people. I'm speaking the truth. Common sense. It's just common sense, right? I mean, screw it. Let's still call it common sense, but let's just raise the bar with it. If you like my little rants and my radio sessions, please subscribe to my YouTube channel at T-Talk4You, or like my Facebook page, T_talk. Please leave a few suggestions on the page for any kind of ideas for rants and discussions. Sooner or later, I'm going to be having guests on here. I'm not lying. I've been talking to a good bit of people. Have a good one.